Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be going over the Cadillac Escalade V. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Sander Cadillac here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this Escalade. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a supercharged 6.2 liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 11 around town and then 16 on the highway, with power outputs being 682 horsepower and then 653 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Starting with the hood, you guys can see we've got quite a few body lines happening all over the place. Definitely has a boxy look to it overall. And that theme continues to the headlights, and you guys can see the daytime running light action down below. And I love how everything's been blacked out. It gives this such a sinister appearance. And I like how the Cadillac emblem is silver. That's also really cool. And putting it all together, it has such an imposing front end. Coming around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 275, 50, 22 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see the wheels follow the theme of being completely blacked out. And then I love the contrast with the red brake caliper. And by the way, look how big the brake rotors are on this. Of course, you gotta have big brakes for a V. You can see the boxiness continue here on the side with the fender, and then you got the V logo here on the side as well. And then just everything else has been blacked out. And then here's your full side profile on the Escalade V. Now here's a quick look at the key fob. We have our lock and unlock function, remote start, the opening for the hatch, and then that's just for the window, and then you got the V logo on the back. Now popping into the rear, you guys can see that we've got a decent amount of cargo space behind the third row. This is built off of regular Escalade, not off of the extended version. But anyways, you've got these controls to throw down the second row. You can raise and lower the third row, and then you can see Cadillac logo rather, but then the Escalade logo is over here. When you're all done, just press this button and that will lower the hatch right back down. Now the taillights with this look absolutely insane, and then you guys can see another V logo, and then Escalade logo is blacked out. And then this is cool, by the way, you press the Cadillac emblem to open up the hatch. I don't know, I always think it's fun. Anyways, look how aggressive the exhaust tips are, and you guys are gonna love how this thing sounds. And putting it all together, some subtle changes to make it look like a V. I think it's cool. Now this is basically a fully loaded Cadillac when it comes to the interior, so you guys can see beautiful material use throughout, soft touch everywhere, even here at the bottom as well, which is really nice. And I love the piping right there. And look at the speaker for the sound system. Really nice leather seats here as well. Escalade logo, and then you got power running boards. Legroom here in the back is really good. We've got a little storage pocket here. We actually have screens in the back. We also have our own climate zone here for the rear passengers. And then you guys can see we've got a bunch of USB ports as well. And then headroom back here is great. And then I'm not going to pop into the third row. I've been in many Escalade third rows, but basically really nice seats back there, as you can now see because the camera finally picked it up. And you can fit adults back there very comfortably. Now taking a look at the front door panel, again, really nice material use throughout. And you can see the trim down below. We've got all of our window controls here. Front two are automatic. All of your mirror adjustments as well, memory seats. We have heated and cooled seats. We also have massaging seats as well. And blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. Got some speaker action there on the headrest, which is crazy. And then you guys can see with the design for the rest of the seat. And then your power adjustments. And I'm actually interested to see how much this weighs. So, well, it can tow 7,000 pounds, which is crazy. Gross vehicle weight rating 7,700, payload 1,300. So 6,400 pounds is how much this weighs. But anyways, pedals down below. Got trailer brake controls integrated from the factory. Parking brake, this is for the suspension to raise and lower it. And then you got your drive mode select as well, and then you got the V right there, which is really cool. And the steering wheel is power adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys can see we've got Super Cruise with this. Really nice paddles there on the back for that 10-speed. And I love the just feel of the steering wheel. Of course, another V logo there at the bottom. And then you got practical controls like your cruise control, for example. Again, you got Super Cruise with this. And then some controls for the center stack and then regular stocks here on the back. Now in normal Escalade fashion, we have this little side screen here, which is crazy. This is where you can change what the gauge looks like. I'll show you guys the different viewpoints. So this is the traditional gauge setup. We also have a map view. It does take a second for these to load up, as you can see. I guess that you'll see real time here. I'll dismiss that. Yeah, that takes more than a second to load up. I guess I'll give you guys another clip. There we go. The map view is up. We also have the augmented reality camera. I think this one loads up faster if I remember right, which is pretty cool. Night vision, it might not let us do it, yeah, because it's not dark. But yeah, it's pretty cool, the whole setup. Now in reverse, you guys can see we've got a 360 camera system here. So we've got trajectory lines to turn with the steering wheel with that backup view, but you can change the viewpoint here. You can go overhead. It's cool. There's literally like a bajillion different camera views here with the new Escalade, so great camera system overall. As for the rest of the infotainment screen, it responds very quickly. I can also control things with a whole dial setup, which also responds really well. It's pretty easy to use. Has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto as well. Obviously, this is where most of your stuff is going to be for the vehicle. You got cool stuff like ambient lighting. So yeah, there's quite a bit built in here. It does take a second to get used to everything, lots of tech, but it's cool. Really cool dark trim here on the dash. Then you guys can see soft touch here at the very top, and then lots of speaker action right there, which is crazy. We've got our analog dual zone climate controls right here, and then you guys can see the auto hold, and then you've got your V mode right there, and then your lane departure, shifter for that 10-speed automatic, analog controls here for the whole infotainment system setup. And you got a bunch of storage here with the cup holders. Got a nice finish there at the bottom. Nice trim here on the top as well. And then with the center console, also doubles as a refrigerator. Pretty big, that's for sure. Got some nice padding here on the top as well. And then while we're on the topic of storage, big glove box. And then up top here, we've got our controls here for like the seats, for example. We also have a panoramic sunroof, got a premium headliner as well. And then this, of course, has the camera rear view mirror, as you can see. So here's our one sticker for this Escalade V. You guys can see the base MSRP here. We do have quite a few options added to it. After all options, it stickers for $161,660. Let's see how it drives. Now, before we move on to the next feature, we need to talk about today's video sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. Now, believe it or not, the modern world is actually a pretty treacherous place. Every single time you go out for a drive, there's a chance that you could get into an accident. You could be walking in front of a business, they could have something on the ground, and you could slip and fall and hurt yourself. And on top of that, you could just be doing your job, right? Like you always do, and something could happen and you could sustain a major injury. This is a topic that's very important to me personally because I drive about 40,000 miles per year for the channel, and so there are a lot of situations that I'm put in on a day-to-day basis where accidents almost happen. Now, knock on wood, nothing's happened for years, but there's always the chance that something could happen. And this is where Morgan & Morgan comes into play. They are America's largest injury law firm with over 100 offices, over 800 lawyers, and over 4,000 case staff that are all ready to help you out. And one of the best parts about working with Morgan & Morgan is that things like the negotiations, the court hearings, and the research associated with putting together a case are all free unless you win. And so if you're involved in some kind of personal accident, whether it be a car accident, a slip and fall accident, or an accident at the workplace, then you might want to get help from Morgan & Morgan. And on a little bit of a side note, don't feel bad about hiring an attorney. Remember that you're suing the insurance company that is worth billions upon billions of dollars. They can more than pay for the compensation that you deserve. So if you are injured in an accident, then you can check out Morgan & Morgan at www.forthepeople.com/Ben Hardy, or you can give them a call at #529, that is pound law. Again, www.forthepeople.com/Ben Hardy or pound law. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, throughout the rest of the rear. And this is going to be a very short drive, but it will be a drive nonetheless. Okay, so now we're in normal mode. I'll put it in V mode on the way back. I just want to see how normal mode feels in an Escalade V. First off, I will say just the engine rumble that this has is so monstrous. I love it. And supercharged V8s are significantly more responsive than naturally aspirated V8s. Obviously, you have that supercharger that just, like, I don't know, it just makes everything push harder, and so you feel that right off the bat. Like, this feels significantly punchier compared to a regular Escalade right off the bat. The augmented reality is very strange to see. I will say though, it brakes more like a truck than anything else. You can feel how heavy it is. Reminds me of my Ram TRX that I had. Still very comfortable in normal Escalade fashion. You're gonna pop it in the V mode now. But yeah, it's still like a luxury SUV, big time. Like they've done a really good job with the damping and everything here on it. I love the sound. I'm in love with this thing. It does the gargles out of the exhaust too. That is so cool. It feels so jumpy. It's just like, I want to go. It's so fun. That is for sure. I will say it's not too cumbersome to drive. Again, I owned a Ram TRX for a while, supercharged V8, you know, body and frame vehicle just like this. This is way easier to drive. But I mean, it is a smaller vehicle, so it makes sense. But it's not lighter. I think this weighs about the same as the Ram TRX did. So that is all the same. I kind of already talked about this, but the seats are really comfortable. I will say though, like, one thing is you're not getting, like, this is top of line Escalade interior, but you're not getting a nicer interior with the V compared to other Escalades, if that makes sense. Like if you get a top line Escalade with the diesel or with the V8, you're getting the same interior that this has. So that doesn't really change with the V. So all that extra money goes into the engine. And, well, speaking of all that extra money in the engine, oh my goodness. Let's get the window down a little bit here. Oh, listen to that. I don't know what's more American than a luxury 3-row SUV with almost 700 horsepower that gets 13 miles per gallon combined between city and highway driving. Gotta love this thing. So overall, the Escalade V lived up to all my hopes and dreams and expectations. It's such a cool vehicle. If you're lucky enough to get one of these, then you're lucky enough to get one of these. It's really cool. There's just nothing else out there like this that's so special. So yeah, if you've got $161,000 burning a hole in your pocket, it's probably one of the best ways you could spend it. But let me know your thoughts.